Happy Wednesday, people. This is the Kris and Gina show. I'm Kris. This beautiful, smart person to my right, your left, is none other than Gina B. Gina B, how are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Can't complain.
Why bother, right?
Our weather has sucked.
The sun came out a little bit just a minute ago.
Sucked bad, people. But hopefully this show won.
Yeah.
On tap for this evening. Before we even get on tap, I just want to remind everybody, important announcement. It's National Pecan Day.
What are these days? It's also a day for everything.
It's also National Eat Your Jelly Day. Jello. Jelly. Jello. Jello. Eat your Jello.
Are they trying to find ways to get Jello into people now?
Maybe.
Because it's disgusting. Anyway.
The title of the show is Should You Change?
Should you?
And I've asked, I had a few people reach out for clarification. Should you change for a person if you're in a committed relationship? Obviously, not somebody you just met. Hope you wouldn't change for them. They haven't proven anything. So, what are your thoughts on that? Because people can be sort of, first let me just say there's no perfect fit, right?
No.
So we know there's but people don't like change.
Off the rack.
People don't like change.
Well, people get really indignant about this. They're like, why should I have to change to be in a relationship? Like, why is that a requirement? And they act like that's a bad thing.
Right. Now, there can be gray areas. You're 1,000% right. I normally don't do this. You will never hear me talk about a current event because if you watch this show 6 months from now, it's nothing. Every other show, it's timeless. Gina B is one of her 7 phones. You join us?
Yeah, I'm just turning it down.
Let's talk briefly about the Kiki and Darius situation.
Oh, okay.
Well,
which I didn't know anything about until you.
Here's the thing. You that right. Gina B hadn't heard about it. For those of you who not in the know, our little favorite actress from Aquila and the Bee, right?
Little Kiki.
Little Kiki Palmer. Not so little Kiki anymore. Little Kiki Palmer as a child with this guy Darius. She apparently was in an Usher concert, wore some very little clothing. The whole back was out, sheer. Nice cheeks, by the way, Kiki, if you're watching the show.
I'm sure she cares about our opinion of her cheeks.
However, the guy gets, upset or jealous, saying, hey, you're somebody's mom, something like that. And folks were taking either side on this thing. Now, I will say, I think she has the right to wear whatever she wants. Let's just get that out of the way. That guy's not, he had a kid with her, but there's no ring on her finger. She's a single woman. She can do what she wants. So I won't get into the weeds of that. But what I will get into is, let's hypothetically say that situation, they are, or a couple like that that's not in Hollywood somewhere, a regular couple, you're now in a committed relationship. Should, in this case, a woman, or it could be a man, change what they wear? I mean, see, people always think it's about an attitude, or certain people dress fairly provocatively, and I know there's a side of folks that'll say, well, when he met her, she dressed like that. Now, we're not necessarily talking about Kiki and Darius now, but something like that. Should someone change how they dress?
Well, so I feel 2 ways about this. On one hand, yes, people have a right to wear whatever they want. But at the same time, a lot of people wear things, a lot of women wear things to attract attention.
Sure.
And if you are with someone, if someone is like, if you're married or, involved or committed, then it's a kind of attention that sometimes...
Or engaged.
It's a kind of attention that sometimes you don't need to attract. And
you shouldn't wear that outfit on the stage with Usher.
Well, I mean, who knows what goes on between her and that man?
That's true.
Right? Like, you don't know is she the baby mama? Is he just locked it down? I mean, like, what, does he feel that he has the right to say, maybe not that outfit?
Let's say it was something that wasn't as, that outfit was, let's say it's a regular couple, but it's an outfit, or what about, I'll say in this case,
look this outfit
a wife
Okay.
If you look up the outfit, look, try to get a picture from the back. That means something.
Yeah.
Um,
Apparently to you it does.
I want to know what folks think. I want to know, and you guys do have ability to put out some questions, and we'll try to read them if you put up a good one. In a normal relationship,
Uh-huh.
do you think someone getting married should change if the person dressed more provocatively, if that's how the spouse met him or her?
Well, like I said, I mean, a lot of people wear things to attract attention. So, but if that person, that's their style of dress,
Right.
if being provocative is their jam, then, that's maybe you can expect more of that. But at the same time, I just don't really see the point of attracting all that kind of attention if you're, personally, I don't really.
Before we get into the things that people don't like to change, why do you think people don't like to change?
Because it's work.
To change?
Yeah, it's work to change. Because generally, you're changing. You're setting your ways, right? People of a certain age, or even not of a certain age, but people definitely of a certain age are set in their ways, and they are that way for a reason, and they don't feel like they want to change anything. They feel like someone should take them as they are. And they get very, specific about it. Like, I've been doing this for years. I'm set in my ways. I don't want to change.
In my circle, and I want to know what your circle is like, because in my circle of single guy friends, I frequently hear them say, they tell about their first dates or whatever.
Yeah.
She was cool, but, and this is a true story. I have a buddy who's, he has a trade. I won't mention his trade because I'm trying to keep folks' identity, but he went out just for coffee with a person who had a college degree, and she had issue with that. And I think at that time he otherwise thought she would be cool.
Wait, she was not cool about
the fact that he had a trade and not a college degree.
Oh, well.
I mean, it's her choice. I get it. And they're not necessarily a couple yet, but
then she can just walk away from that. Like, what is that? That isn't okay. So that isn't the kind of change we're talking about.
No, but let's say they got together.
Let's say they got together, right?
And she wanted him to go back to school and get a degree.
Did he want to go back to school and
No.
get a degree? He does not. He does not feel the value of getting a degree. She just wanted him to. Well, that's a case where she shouldn't have gotten with him.
I agree, but let's say they're together. Because all of us have gotten with people and found out things later that we didn't like.
Right. Well, she knew that in the beginning.
My wife got with me. She's stuck. So what do you think? Should he go back?
Not unless he wants to.
I agree.
Because, I mean, that's a little different than some of the change we're talking about, we're addressing in this show, which you'll hear about in a minute. But it's different if it's going to enhance a career that you want, or if it's something that you've always wanted to do, then sure, go back to school. But if it's not anything that is part of your aspiration, I mean, if she's with him,
right,
then she needs to understand, there's certain things that are like, this is kind of who people are. There's certain things that may change and could change. There's certain things that probably won't change.
Some areas that I think are sort of gray, right? And I think you're 1,000% right on that.
Yeah.
I think a litmus test is it good for the relationship?
Right.
But it also has to be palatable for a person.
Exactly.
Let's take smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
He wants her to stop. Well, she wants him to stop.
Yeah. She wants him to stop.
What do you think?
Which I think is reasonable because it's not good for your health anyway.
What?
It's not good for your health anyway.
I got it.
Smoke cigarettes.
But would you stop? Would you stop? Or let's switch it. Let's say a guy asks a woman to stop drinking alcohol. See how that goes?
I mean,
see how we get in these
sometimes
gray areas?
that works though. Sometimes that works for people.
But what if you don't want it? What if the person doesn't want to stop drinking?
Well, then I think then that's kind of a no-go decision for the people that are in relationships. It's like if you are married to the idea of something,
right.
But sometimes my point is sometimes change can be good if you're receptive, right? So there is really like no upside to smoking cigarettes.
Well, again,
And some people find there's no upside to smoking. To drinking alcohol.
that's what I was gonna say. The guy who he might smoke a pack a day,
He might.
and you said he should stop because there's no upside to it.
Oh, so this is the same. These are the same couple.
Yeah.
So okay, well they can make a pact. You stop
No, it's
drinking,
not
I'll
the same
stop
couple.
smoking.
Two different
Oh,
situations.
okay. Well,
Sorry.
okay. Well, all right.
I mean,
Well,
same couple, two different.
he smokes a pack a day. It's going to kill him.
If she drinks too much, it's gonna
Well,
kill her.
most people don't drink themselves to death.
Most people don't smoke themselves to death too.
A lot of people do.
See what I'm saying?
They smoke themselves into lung cancer.
I think those are things that I think both of those things, and I'm not an advocate for people smoking a pack of cigarettes a day,
You are an advocate for people drinking, though.
but I think I'm an advocate for people if they smoke, or if they drink, if they want to stop or limit themselves, then I think they should.
Yeah.
I do think the other partner should be able to express their concern
Yeah.
as, hey, I love you. I want you to be here a long time,
Right.
healthy living, a, high
Well,
quality of life.
Everyone needs to be receptive to the change, right? Like you can't be dragged kicking and screaming into something. I'm just saying, like should you change? It's not being open to change isn't a bad thing. Is my point.
Right. We had one comment. Can you blow up that? I think this
Anything
happens
else?
a lot. I hope I'm saying this right. Dale F, thank you for the comment. If anyone can't see the comment, we had someone put up, also don't get with someone with the hopes to change them. I agree. It never works. Or it works for a short term
Mm-hmm.
and then it blows up because people always revert back to being sort of who they are, right? That's a good one. What about weight? I'm picking some areas that are sensitive to people.
People.
If people are sensitive about drinking, right? People are sensitive about smoking or being told what to smoke or what to drink or how much to drink. I'll say that.
Well, see, sometimes people are just being controlling, and sometimes they're looking out for your health. And Mina says people need to separate their preferences from their non-negotiables or deal breakers.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
that's true.
But then again, I mean, I've dated folks pre-marriage. Maybe some habits I didn't like.
Yeah.
And then, what do you do? I have chose to just,
Like,
beat it.
honestly, like when I started dating my fiance, I did not like his hair.
Wow. I hope he's not watching. Did you make him change it?
I didn't make him do anything. He decided he
You
wanted
suggested-
to.
You,
Nope, I had to.
he
I
said-
waited. I waited until
decided
it was
he
his
wanted to
idea.
change. Well,
I waited until it was his idea. But he didn't really know that I didn't like it. But I was like, all right, well, it's not killing him. It's not killing me. But one day he changed it.
What if you were 75 pounds heavier than what you are?
Yeah, okay.
Because you're pretty low. What if he wanted you to lose weight? I mean, would you find that offensive? Or do you think
It depends on whether I wanted to lose weight.
Really?
Well, because I'm the only one that can really make that real change.
I know what this is a real one because people gain weight in relationships,
They do.
right? So
Did I gain the weight in the relationship, or did he meet me at the weight?
anybody who's been in a relationship, if you're African American, both of you have gained weight.
That's not true.
Pretty much.
You think?
Men and women. So,
Well, you get that relationship.
but let's talk about
Weight.
let's talk about if one person gained more weight. Let's say he in this particular case. Let's say he gained a whole bunch of weight since you guys have been together. Not you necessarily, but someone. Would a woman have a right to tell the guy, "Hey, listen, it's almost more than I like now."
Oh, thanks, Kelly.
Somebody said Gina looked the same. You should see her up close. We got a whole makeup team.
Oh, shut up.
I'm bald.
She actually knows me, so yeah.
But what would you want a man
Uh-huh.
with all that extra weight since you got together? Would you give him an ultimatum?
I mean,
Wow.
we know. I'm laughing. You know why I'm
Wow.
laughing?
Wow.
Because I told you about that 50-pound weight gain in men.
That has
What
nothing to do with
happens?
this show. She just wants to talk about how man's penis gets smaller if he gains 50 pounds. It's
So,
humorous. to
I mean, it might be affecting the sex life. So no, but I mean, but really, if you've been in a relationship for a while, okay, we have an emergency extreme tornado warning.
But we're not going to stop the show.
We're not going to stop the show. I'm just letting you know. If your phones are buzzing right now, who cares? We're going to keep it moving. So after a while, like, okay, I've been together, like you've been with your wife a long time. I've been my fiance for a long time. If there's there are health issues that come along with extreme weight gain.
Mhm.
And so a lot of it isn't like, oh my God, told you. Oh, Jesus.
Hard getting good help these days.
It is, isn't it? No, that actually comes through whether my ringer's off or not. Because that's how iPhone likes to do it.
My phone's not that fancy.
You have an iPhone, don't you?
Kinda.
Whatever. Anyway, my point being that there are health issues that come along with it. And so you want the person around for a while. And so maybe it's a, hey, I'll help you. Maybe it's not a, you're not as fine as you used to be. Maybe it's a, I'm concerned for your blood pressure.
That's a good, and I think most people would try. I'd like to think.
Because no one enjoys gaining 75 pounds. Who likes that?
Some people don't care.
They're like, yeah, I'm into it. Give me some more gravy.
If I was 6'9", I don't think I would mind.
Well, yeah, because it's spread out across 6 feet and 9 inches of person.
All right. What if a person is? I'm trying to get into these stubborn, because every relationship's not everyone. There are relationships where one person can be slightly stubborn.
Yeah.
I don't think sometimes that person knows they're stubborn. A guy who never apologizes.
People who don't clean up.
Or people who, right. Or maybe a woman
drives me
who
crazy.
doesn't say she's sorry.
Right.
How do you? And those are things I think you can change. But I think those are very hard habits for folks to get out of.
And there's a lot of passive aggression.
All types of it.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes people don't even know.
They don't know what.
I've had
They're
people
passive
talk to
aggressive.
me and say, hey, man, she said this, but she doesn't understand, and I'm trying to do this, and all she sees is her way. And I was like, well, don't jump on it. So what did you say, hey, I understand, but have you thought about this? He's like, I've done all that. She said no. So there's some ways that you can find out if you're that person.
The person that's too stubborn?
Sometimes people don't. And here are questions you can ask to determine. And I'll even give some ways to diffuse the stubborn person or try. Some people just.
Are you stubborn, Kris?
I can be.
What are you stubborn about?
There's certain things that I don't like. I don't like having to tell children things multiple times.
Well, that's different.
But because I have girls, you don't want to raise your voice and use a booming male voice.
Why not?
Because
Sometimes that's what gets it done.
because they don't do anything that needs that. But if I ask my spouse, and hopefully she's not watching because I told you not to mention her on the show, but you did it anyway.
No,
but
I didn't. I said, are you
I'd
stubborn?
rather it come from her because she can yell and it just doesn't sound as intimidating. And I feel that doesn't happen often. I'm not hurt. But anyway,
So you want your spouse. Okay. So what you're saying is you're stubborn in the sense that you want the message to come from your spouse rather than you. And
when it's a repeat offense in
when
a
it's
short amount of
repeat
time.
But I'm talking about things like, I wish that my fiance would actually like do dishes.
Mm.
And somehow that on a daily basis doesn't seem to happen. I don't know why. Or, just day-to-day life
Let me
thing.
think about that.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Here's how
Whether
to
you'll
know
admit it or
if
not.
you are the stubborn person in a relationship, right? 4 ways. And people listening like, not me. Probably all of them.
It's probably all.
Do you find yourself unwilling listen to your partner's point of view? I've seen couples argue. I've been in those arguments in past relationships where one person starts to say something, and before it comes out of their mouth, the other person is already refuting, rebutting, didn't listen, didn't care. Or somebody says, well, hear me out. And they say, okay, go ahead. And they listen, and you can tell they didn't think about it, because as soon as the last word you finish, and they just rattle off something that had nothing to do with what they said. I think that is very common. And if you're doing that, you're being stuck.
And sometimes that's a communication style.
No.
Because don't you know people
Cutting
who-
someone off not listening is communication.
Yeah, Kris, it is. Anyway,
What you said, you? I'm keep cutting you off. No, I'm just playing. Go ahead. Go ahead.
it is a communication. You know how there are certain people that they're not listening so much as they're waiting to talk.
Right. That's bad.
which is a communication style, and it's also a bad relationship habit.
And
Like,
that's something I think
kinda-
people have a hard time. See, the first things we were talking about, the weight, the this, the cigarette, we're sort of setting you up for these things that are more difficult to change. So, can you change the way you communicate? Because it is a relationship killer.
Right.
Because eventually one person is going to feel, man, I can't do this.
Right.
You know. Second thing, do you have a need to be right all the time?
Hmm.
Do you all know anyone who has a need to be right all the time?
I don't know anybody like that.
You always have to be right.
Who, me?
Yes.
No, I don't.
99% of women in this country. All right, I take that back. I don't want the femininity canceled.
Yeah, right? I'm about to
Well,
cancel my own show.
A lot of people I know. But seriously, that's number two.
Okay.
And there are people who, and at some point, one of the two has to say, hey, do you want us to win in this relationship, or do you just want to be right? Some people, I think, seriously just want to be right. So if that's you, work on it. This one's sort of difficult because I don't know if a person who's being stubborn will notice. Do you resist a reasonable request? Because
What do
that's
you
a big
consider
person, too.
reasonable?
Let's say, hey, your husband says to wife, your friend's over here way too much, playing cards, drinking. Because husbands
wonder-
always say that to wives.
Yeah, they always do.
A compromise would be, okay, instead of 3 times a month, maybe it's once a month. Something like that.
Yeah, there could be a compromise.
Or the timing of it, or how late they go.
Well, this is the thing. Like,
But
you
that
can't-
shows you're listening.
It does show you're listening, but that's part of the change I'm talking about. Like, when you get together, you can't. If you have a bachelor life, well, your house is essentially the club,
Right?
right?
Everybody has a single life until they get with somebody.
Right, but when you get with somebody, you can't just do like if someone's living with you. That
So you would
that's
banish,
part of
you
the
would
change.
banish card night forever.
No, you don't have to banish card night, but to your point, it's compromise. But you can't live the bachelor life when you have a woman move into your house.
But you do
You've
need
seen that not work
every
well.
healthy couple needs to come with their own friends
Hmm.
and doing what they like.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So, but I think there's compromise that can be had there.
So Mina
says
says.
you can-
Having to be right all the time is rooted in ego and pride, which is not an attractive trait.
It
You're
is
absolutely
very
right. It is very unattractive.
Mina says it's so mature. We must have her on this show
We
one day.
must. We would love to have Mina on the show. One of my
Um,
favorite people.
And the last one. Do you take responsibility for doing something that hurts your partner? Because that would indicate you were wrong.
Yeah.
And people have a hard time
Admitting that.
admitting that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So those are things that I think when I say should you change, that might be the hardest thing I think people have to change.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, you've been single all this time, you've gotten through life, doing things your way. And sometimes there are other ways to do or think about things. And sometimes we say things that might hurt someone. I think if it hurts somebody, then they should apologize. I've never dated anyone who felt the same.
And we're not talking about like physical abuse, right? Physical abuse shouldn't be happening, right?
Right.
But things that just
You should never tell anybody, hey, that's stupid what you think.
No.
People do
even
that.
if you feel that way.
But people do that all the time. But if you say it and you see that they react a certain way, you should
Right.
apologize not one of the fake apologies, not one of these, if you felt what I said was wrong. No, you said some wrong shit.
Right.
And if you can't notice that ever, then you're being stubborn. Those are the 4 things.
Yeah. I mean that's all fair. But like when you're, I don't know.
You don't want to say you're sorry ever, huh?
No, it isn't that you don't want to. It isn't that I don't want to. Sams. That isn't the thing.
What's the thing?
The thing is, it's all about compromise.
True.
So there's a lot of things you can say to people that are offensive to them or whatever. You just have to try to bite your tongue with that. But
Yeah.
but to be in a relationship though, there are a lot of compromises that have to be made, and
What?
sometimes you don't like them
But
all.
what if a woman felt, hey, you spend too much time with your mom? See, it gets hairy.
Don't get with a mama's boy.
I didn't say a mama's boy. See, you see how she just interjects things that weren't even in the scenario. Well, let me do what she does.
Sometimes that is a
The
thing.
mother's sick. She's on hospice. Don't do that. Just all I said was
That's not but
exactly. I
comparable.
didn't say that. I just
Comparable.
simply said she says you spend too much time with your mother. Now, I don't know if he does or doesn't, but I think anyone would feel attacked by that tone.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. I mean, what would be the alternative if she felt that way?
Let's talk about if we're spending enough quality time together. Why does she care how much time she's spending with his mom if their time together is met?
Then then address that. Like that's the problem.
You like that,
That's
didn't you?
no, but that's a good because the whole thing is that obviously if it's a complaint, it's addressing a problem,
Right.
and which isn't really the point of this show, but we can talk about that. That's a good topic for future shows.
Possible. Yes.
I mean,
But
it's a relationship thing.
But before we get into back to the other things that you change, how would you deal with these stubborn people? Because I personally think this is huge out here in the world.
Are
At
they
least
deal
with
breakers?
couples that are having issues, it's usually to what you said, communication style, or somebody just not wanting to give in or compromise. And how do you broach change with someone who doesn't even care to want to engage in it?
Right. Well, if
You know, I'm about to
someone
list of some tips.
if someone I know you did. If someone does not care to broach change, then this is early. Like we're thinking early relationship,
No, there are
right?
people married with kids.
No, but the point is, these are things you can see early on.
You think, but sometimes relationships aren't as sweet as they were at the beginning. Relationships change. People feel differently. And how they feel, they
Well,
don't always respond the same.
it's so funny. I saw
Like,
this.
leave that mother sucker.
Well, but my point is, you can suss this stuff out in the beginning, and if you see it, then this is the time to make that choice.
Actually,
right?
the time to suss it out is pre-marriage, doing premarital counseling.
There's
Which,
that.
That's a whole nother show.
Right, which everyone
Should do that.
Yeah,
They go over finance.
I need to go over that.
Like, you need to do all of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I need to get on top of that.
It is.
It's very important.
It's extremely important. No surprises that
But
way.
no, I'm talking about before we're even at marriage.
I got it. But
When you're becoming a couple. When you're becoming a couple, there are things that you can suss out that will let you know that person is not willing to make a compromise to be in a relationship.
I understand. But there's also everything sweet at the beginning.
No, I get that piece, but there are still, even if the representative is there.
I don't know if it's always that. It's always not as big a problem.
What's not as big of a problem?
Things that are good early on will usually get better. Things that are bad get worse. And I'm saying some things are more tolerable. Maybe
Yeah.
you can tolerate someone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you have to get,
He or she didn't apologize. Sort of hurtful. I'll just try to be a little more diplomatic next time. And it progressively gets worse. And maybe the advent of, maybe you have kids and that stresses one parent more than the other. Your mental changes as you
no, so,
both.
okay, we're talking about two different parts of relationships.
I'm just saying.
I'm talking about the beginning of the relationship. You're talking about once you're in the thick of the
I know you're
relationship.
saying that, hey, you can fester these things out. And I'm saying that's not always possible.
Well, sometimes you can see where if a person's, well, I have some things that maybe people should consider
What if someone
changing.
ignore it? What if you're, whatever reason, 7 years in, how do you deal with it?
Oh, well, 7 years in, that's a whole different issue.
How do you deal? Is there ways to deal with it or try to deal with it?
Okay, what's up? Chris has got a list.
I'm going to run through them because
Chris has
after
got
that,
a list.
we got other stuff to do. Yeah. So, and then I want you to give us some things that we should change for.
Yeah.
But I'll just run through these real quick and we can talk about any of them.
Absolutely.
A, try to calm yourself before you talk about it.
Right.
Because usually what happens is, in that same scenario, you're spending too much time with your mother. What, my mama? You go right into it. Somebody's got to if it's going to be effective.
Don't talk about somebody's mama. They get real.
She didn't
Talky.
say anything about the mama. She
Well,
said,
the
see how you did that?
perception is,
No,
though,
no. The words were, you spend too much time at your mom. I hate
my mama
when people
needs
just
me.
change the meaning of the words. And no, that didn't come from here. It's not that personal. You just try to calm down before you respond.
Right.
Also, choose the right time for them to express, because maybe it went back and forth and they're heated. Just say, you know what? Let's just talk about this after dinner. You know, calming down, choosing the right time. Now, another thing you shouldn't do, I don't know if men do this. Don't withhold love from the person. If you're mad or angry, be angry, but you got to learn to talk about it.
Don't use sex as a bargaining chip.
If anyone
That's why you ain't
uses
getting
sex
none.
as a bargaining chip, you may as well just go grab your spouse by the hand and take them to someone else to sleep with. Do not do that. Now, maybe when I say withhold for any length of time, maybe you're so mad you're not.
We're not really feeling it.
Well, he wouldn't expect it after a big argument.
Well, unless people like that makeup,
Look,
that
35
mad,
minutes later.
that
you still
mad
Look,
sex.
35
Right.
minutes later, biggest argument ever. 35 minutes later. For real, you still mad about that, huh?
Yeah. How about now?
Right,
Okay,
how about now?
How about now?
You can try complimenting them a lot of times, and I think Mina said this. People who are like this tend to have, they got a ego, or they feel invalidated, so they have to do this, and they feel like it's this way. They thinking they're protecting themselves by never apologizing, never admitting I'm wrong, never negotiating. You know what I'm saying? I'm right. So there's nothing, you know. And so you kill them with kindness a little bit, see if that works. Oh man, maybe they'll open up slightly. Wow, I said all of that. He or she, you know, didn't curse back. You know,
What's that about?
You can try it. And to that end, and I said it, always be willing to compromise. And there may be more. They may have exploded, but they may not have explained their view fully. So always give your partner time. Hey, I think I see this differently. But first, before I offer my opinion, let me hear at length why you feel the way you do.
Yeah, you got to hear the person out.
That's better than saying bullshit. You know what I'm saying? That's a better way to do it.
Oh, hell no. Yeah, it's
you
not.
for real? Oh, fuck. Oh, hell no. Those are ways not to respond. Never suggest that they're flat out wrong. That I feel that happens to people all the time. Oh, hell, that's wrong. That's wrong. We do it, but it's not nice. And it doesn't help, especially a strong relationship where you guys normally communicate effectively and, you know, with empathy for each other. It can stand that. But a relationship filled with this it's going to be disastrous, right? But having said that, no one, man or woman, should be a doormat. Because you let people beat up on you, they will continue to beat. It makes them feel big,
Right.
I think. But not at your expense. Choose your battles wisely. You know, fellas, you can watch a couple of chick flicks. Some of them are pretty good. Let's see what Mina says again.
Mina is our, she's our at-home correspondent. Kris is talking about having emotional intelligence and maturity, which folks out here don't want to do. It's too much work.
I agree that and I do think folks out here they don't have the emotional maturity, but those folks
they
need to be
don't.
in a relationship and they don't work. Hence, you see so many single men and single women who want to be with people. Now, there are people who want to be single, and that's fine.
Because they're doing great things
They're doing great things. Right. They got a lot of friends, whatever the case.
Whatever they're doing.
But there are a lot of people who are single who do want to be with people who don't understand that they're doing this. Trying to reach them. I know Mina says, I'm trying to reach them. So throw it out there. If I can save one or two, maybe they'll save someone But yeah,
One soul at a time.
some ignorant ass folks out there. That's what she wanted to say. Some ignorant ass folks, Kris. They ain't listening to that shit.
Translation for me to comment.
Right. But and this is, I mean, if somebody cares about you, in this next one, you should be able to express how it made you feel. Right? I mean, if you expressed how you really felt about something, you know, let's say moving. That is something that I think people should definitely be able to change over, like moving, like physically moving.
Like moving houses?
Yeah, we're moving from Chicago. We're moving to here.
To Florida.
I think you can work that out. But if you just
sometimes you can.
But if you care about someone, you would really listen and have a conversation. Is all I'm saying.
Right.
And if there's a reason not to, and but that's something that definitely can be compromised for. I just think. But some people, believe it or not, something like that. Like, hell no, I've been living here all my life. Why would I want to possibly live in a better place and have better opportunity for our family? People are stubborn.
Stuck.
And last one. This last one's stupid. I didn't source this. I got this from marriage.com if anyone wants to look at it. August 21. The last one says, remember there are benefits to being with a stubborn person.
What are those?
They'll stay the course. They'll all, you guys make a decision.
I'll have to remind my fiance of that.
Exactly. You all make a decision together. You will not waver.
Honey, there are benefits to being with me.
That's why I will not let us down on what we said we were going to do. So, you got to try to use that stubbornness to your benefit.
That's hilarious.
That's all I got on that.
That's all. Well, okay. Now, on the flip side of this, I'm going to work with the single people.
Okay.
Who are thinking about getting in relationships and who maybe don't want to change if they meet a person because they're set in the way, whatever the reasons, right? I also have a list.
Good job.
Yay. I got this from Bustle magazine, and the article is 11 things it's okay to change. Thanks, honey. 11 things it is. and I recognize the benefit of being with your stubborn ass too, so it's good. Anyway.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Gina Barnes' fiance.
Yeah.
What up, Lee?
What up?
But so these are things.
These are 11 things
that people should change.
That people should change. That people.
That's really what we came here to hear.
Yeah, that's what we hear. This is what. Okay.
You gave us a bunch of nothing.
If you for you gave things for people that are in relationships. We have a lot of viewers who want to be in relationships, and this is for them. Okay, so your interests and your hobbies. Okay, so when you connect with a person, you have to be open to new things, right? And you can't say, I only play cards and that's it, right? If a person likes golf, think about maybe golf could be something fun for you guys to do together. Maybe it's, whatever that person does, you can consider expanding.
I think that's an excellent example, but I do have a question.
What's that, sir?
I do think, but what if golf, and when you say golf, that's why I don't play. I took a lesson. It was a really, really bad thing. But there are guys who play with other guys, and they love playing golf.
Well, that's their thing. That's fine. I mean, maybe golf isn't it, but maybe it's like being open to getting into what your partner's into.
I got you.
And keep your hobbies. If golf is your thing with the guys, then keep that. Like maybe she doesn't need to infiltrate that. Right. But if they're interested in having an activity together, then you should be open to, kind of changing up your schedule a little bit and just seeing if there's something else that you might get into because the person that you're with is into it.
Makes perfect sense to this critic.
Okay. Second thing is health habits. All right.
We talked about this one earlier.
About this. Maybe you stop smoking. Maybe you start exercising more or eating better. I mean, these are all great things. Why wouldn't you want to do that?
I think it's hard I've seen people try to stop, and I'll speak specifically to smoking. Mm-hmm. I mean, anyone with a raging crack habit, stop it. It won't help the relationship.
Raging crack habit.
But smoking,
bond on crack.
Smoking can be difficult for folks.
Yeah.
I mean,
smoking is an addiction, to be clear.
Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how many people actually quit smoking. I know they do, but I don't know.
I used to smoke.
But it should be something that they should be willing to.
I smoked in college. I quit.
I'd have to see it. Gina B, for those who don't know, is a health nut. But anyway, yeah, that's good.
Someone
should try You should definitely try
Yeah.
to change that. Okay.
DOF says, I personally say you don't have to love what I do, but come support and come cheer me on. That, I mean,
I
yeah,
like that.
be willing to do that, you know?
As long as it's not taken away from the relationship, I think that's excellent advice.
Yeah, I think that supporting your partner is very key. Okay. So the third point is where you live. All right. So this does not mean that, you should pack up for every like every big ass you meet or whatever.
You follow that.
But I think there should be an openness to it, because if you want to build life with someone,
Right.
the life should be where that, like whatever you want to do.
And the key is
you're open to
compromise.
it.
Not saying you got it.
Yeah. Or, a new apartment or a new condo, whatever it is. Like, just be open to that change.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, a relationship should mean more than a location. I don't care if you're in, Okay.
It should be. The fourth one is bad habits. All right. We all have them. I mean, someone should accept your faults, but that doesn't mean that you get a free pass to be an asshole. So if you're a time person, like, okay, I'm a time person. I'm a serious time person. Sometimes my fiance is not a time person, although he'll probably chime in right now and say that he's never been late to a gig.
I've always seen him punctual on any time.
Yeah, he's punctual on gigs, but like stuff I want him to do sometimes,
even on
maybe not.
personal occasions, I've always seen you and him punctual.
But I mean, it's something that it can be a contentious point, because I'm like, look, we're supposed to be there in 2 minutes. Why? Whatever. And so
Could you pull up Lee Farmer's comment, please?
Did he say something?
Lee Farmer echoed what I
I'm
thought.
always on time.
Lee Farmer is always on time. But
well, it depends on what it is. If it's important to him, then he is on.
Right. I mean, a bad habit could be single folks. Not all of them, but maybe one isn't as tidy.
That's another one. Okay, that's another bone of contention.
This is not a.
I'm a clean person.
This is not a person I was dating, but my college roommate, one of them, was a neat freak. Like, literally. He'd come in and be like, really? It's like 2 dishes in the sink. I was like, dude, it's fucking 2 dishes in the sink. A fucking cup and a spoon. He was a neat freak.
Put him in the dishwasher.
See what I'm saying?
I mean, I'm just curious.
Something I could have worked on.
Well, I mean, it's something I don't understand. You're done with something, you're done with it, right? The dishwasher is here. The sink is here.
I think that's an inefficient use of soap.
Soap?
Just
throw it
wash
in the damn
two
dishwasher.
things.
You're not washing. You rinse, put it in the dishwasher. Rinse.
I'm trying to think back in
Rinse.
many moons ago, did we have a dishwasher?
Do you have a dishwasher?
No, now, but I'm saying this was in college.
Oh, well,
I can't remember.
Clean it and call it a day.
See what I'm saying?
All right. Anyway, your clothes. This is the big one, actually. Okay. So this if you have a pretty strong sense of how you like to look, and this is the thing that we were talking about earlier with the whole Kiki thing, if you're happy with how you dress and it feels like an honest reflection of your personality and your wardrobe makes you feel in beast mode every day, then definitely don't let anyone tell you how to change your appearance to suit their preferences. But if you end up changing how you dress in a way that feels positive, don't hate on yourself for it, right? Like, I feel like I infuse a little bit of style into my fiance's wardrobe, and I think he likes it. And if you don't like it, now's the time to chime in.
But let's take you out of the equation. But let's go back to a Kiki and Darius like couple. They're
Right.
not in Hollywood. Usher's not performing next door where she's going on stage, right? But it's a regular couple. What about somebody who dresses where one party feels is a little too revealing?
Then there should be a compromise.
I agree.
Because I'm telling you,
I don't even know if that comes up that much with couples.
I actually do like you being my. That's nice, honey. Okay. And what did he say before that? I currently have a roommate.
Hilarious.
Like that. That's a neat freak who like gets upset about the dishes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you do have a roommate like that. Yeah. I mean, if okay,
I don't. Well,
as a woman,
Okay.
if you are wearing revealing clothing, you're generally trying to attract attention.
But we live in self-empowerment age where people just don't want to be told to do shit.
No, they don't. They don't want. You can't tell me.
They just don't
But
want an opinion.
they don't want an opinion. But my point is, you have to figure out why you're doing it. So if you are with a person and they don't necessarily feel comfortable with you revealing as much as you do, blah blah blah, then that's something that you guys should probably think through and work out.
All right, I like it.
Yeah, I mean, just whatever, however that ends up, right? If that whoever ends up like winning there, but definitely work it out. Your hair and your grooming habits. Okay, you don't have to change, but if you're walking around and you have a tendency toward BO, then someone might want to clean that up a little bit.
Wow. Yeah,
And
no argument there.
you know what I mean?
No argument
Or
there.
if you've got crusty lips, like pick that up a little bit, sir. Or whatever. I mean, I'm sure you've seen some women walking around looking ways that you're just like, I don't think so.
I'm not gonna put that person out there. I don't like seeing women spit.
Oh, ew.
Oh, just threw up almost
I
thinking
feel like
about
spitting in
almost
general.
threw up in my mouth.
Yeah.
thinking about it.
Like what is in your body that you have to spit so much?
Sure.
Mina says again, it's all about how you package your request. Tone is everything. Like to tell a woman you look out looking like a hoe is probably not gonna get the desired response.
Wait a minute.
John Smith.
Sean Smith, who's been on this show, who's one of the great thought leaders of our time, as far as I'm concerned, and he went to one of the greatest high schools ever, and colleges.
Yeah.
What up, Monarch? Sean Smith says, exactly. We live in a toxic environment where if someone, even a loved one, gives input about your clothing, people just wear it to prove they're grown. And I've seen this. Everybody is not as agreeable. I mean, you've seen people who've been around each other, known each other forever. They figured it out. But there are people who are in quote unquote committed relationships, let's say, less than 3, 4, 5 years. And I've seen this.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it publicly. Well, we just saw
Yeah.
Darius publicly.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're just
So
like,
I
do
don't,
whatever I want to do.
That clothing thing is tough.
The clothing thing is tough.
Yeah.
Okay. Domestic routines is next on the list.
Yeah.
If you're going to have your significant other in your home a lot, your domestic habits are going to have to change. Like, if you're the neat person, then you may have to accommodate a little bit of messiness.
And I have a suggestion for folks too on this one.
What's that?
Men or women. If I do believe in shared, since if everybody works in the house, everybody should be doing something. Fellas, try to pick out things that I like doing. Like I've discovered.
As long as you like doing something.
Yeah.
You gotta like doing something.
Didn't always like doing. But anyway, I've discovered I like cooking things.
Now, if you don't follow him on social media,
But I'm
you
saying,
post some really good looking.
I'm saying, but I like doing it because, especially if you got kids, dinner can get boring.
Right.
So I'm always trying to find new things, and I'm not saying I look up things with 8 ingredients or less, but there are a lot of things out there. Anyway, that's all I got.
It's all about
That's all I got. What else you got?
Yeah. Okay. Your social habits. If you and your partner are a bit mismatched socially, okay. Let's say you're an introvert and he or she's a social butterfly. That's okay, and maybe even necessary that you both change the way that you approach social. So, I'll use another personal example. I am with a very gregarious person.
You don't have to use all your personal things.
Well, I'm just saying, I just
Okay.
have one, so I may as well. I am an extroverted introvert.
Oh,
I'm an extroverted introvert.
for those of us who are just normal people of normal intelligence, what's an extrovert introvert?
You can be on, but it isn't your natural tendency. So you need to have some recharge time and a good amount of it before. My significant other can be on all the time.
Okay.
And I just have to, I'll tell him, I'm overpeopled right now. I just can't with all these people. But my point is, you have to find some sort of common ground. Like, sometimes it's, okay, you go do you, and I'll, whatever.
Wait, before we do this, I normally don't. We got a Kiki comment.
Okay, let's go with the Kiki comment.
Khalid, thank you. Khalid Hankins says, the Kiki guy had a point. She's the mother of his child, twerking, kissing Usher. Just because he's a nobody. He does.
Be cuckold is what I think he means.
Yeah. Well,
Cuckold.
all right, if I'm going to get into the weeds of this, I will say, baby daddies and boyfriends don't get the same privileges.
As husbands.
Because the thing is, and I understand the sentiment. Trust me, I do. But if he didn't care enough about her to put a ring on her finger, who is he to tell her what to wear?
This is my point.
Because she might want a husband.
Right.
And what are you doing? You already is Kiki
I'm not sure if
Palmer,
that's the way to get
who's
one.
worth
but-
X amount. She looks really nice. It won't get better. What are you waiting on? So at that point, if I'm her, I'm like,
Yeah, I mean, this
so I don't condone, I don't condone the outfit for other reasons. I've never, those outfits, unless you're finding some dumb dude like no diss to most NBA players, but unless you're finding some dumb gazillionaire
Stick your
dude,
foot in your mouth.
most normal, respectable men never marry those types. They
No.
do not.
No, they don't.
So that was my knock against Kiki. Hey, you can wear what you want, but just know you have to live with the consequences of your actions.
That's true.
That's all I was
All right, I
saying.
need to get rid of this for this list. Okay.
And we got
Okay.
a couple minutes left.
We got go. That's what I'm saying. The way you argue is something that you
big
want to.
one.
Yeah, this is the big one. That's why I wanted to get to it. I only have 2 more. The way you argue. So you can't be a mean fighter because you can't take some of that stuff back. So you kind of have to bite your tongue, and you have to know that I think we
So
agree on
people
that.
change that if you're a mean, and people know if they're mean fighters.
I was a mean fighter,
Wow, that is so much about my co-host.
aren't you?
Okay, what else you got? Last one.
Your vision of the future.
Muy
Now,
importante.
if you only envision your future as a solo mission, then maybe a relationship is not what you want to do. If you're an I speaker as opposed to a we thinker, then yeah, I don't know.
That was a gem right there. An ice
Speaker,
as opposed to
a we thinker.
That's what I'm going to be stealing that one. That was
Work
good.
it out.
Is
Work
that-
it out.
Is that it?
And then the last one is your ideal vision of love. Like most of us carry around certain ideas of what a perfect love would mean for us, but sometimes you have to be adaptable
Absolutely.
with that. Like there's no fairy tale, there's no and no one else's relationship should be the barometer for yours.
Okay,
It's all scalable.
we're going to do this one last time. I got to see what Sean Smith said about
Okay,
Kiki.
okay. It's all about Kiki today.
I pledged not to come about Kiki, but didn't Chance the Rapper get dragged for his behavior?
Oh, when he was like grinding on some hoe and some I think he was
It's that damn feminazi.
yeah, he was all he got dragged for his behavior because
What do you do?
he was first of all, let's draw the distinction, Sean. Chance the Rapper is a married man. And he's all up on some chick.
Did he get dragged for being married, or did he get
He
dragged?
got dragged for being married and doing what he was doing.
I'd have to research.
Kiki, work it out. Kiki is not married. We don't know if this man is planning to marry her. We don't know anything about this. So yeah, apples and pears.
In short, people, that's what we got. But long and short of it, if you find that you are a person always saying they're wrong, they're wrong, they're wrong, he's wrong, she's wrong, she's wrong, it's possible you need to look in the mirror. No, I'm telling you, you do. But there are most things that someone's asking you to defy your God, your religion, your belief, your kids. Most things you should be willing to compromise on. So
Yes,
that's all we
sure.
got.
Yeah.
Come back next week. I think we'll be talking about, it's going to be a little spicy.
We gotta get back to the spice.
Actually, 2 weeks from now. I may or may not be here next week. Gina, be
I will be here next week. It will be
soon.
spicy.
I want to talk about money
You
and
always
relationships.
That's Chris's favorite topic.
It's spicy.
It is spicy.
Talk about money
It
and
is
relationships.
spicy. It's fine.
As evident of that TikTok video that we talked about.
We should talk about that video.
You want to give them a quick teaser? And then
No, because we have to go.
Okay, we got to go. Anyway, come back next week, same time. Thank you all for coming out. If you have any comments you think about later, Gina and I do check them later, and we get back to folks. So, Kris the Critic, Gina B of the Kris and Gina Relationship Show. We are out. See you all next time. Thanks for coming.